ओम नमो ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदन्ते। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुक्तपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश कांत राधा कांत तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वर विश्वभानुसुदेव प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वांछा कल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिंधु जगतानां कामनेभ्यो वैष्णवो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत दादर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, so welcome to Corporate Gita. We will continue our Bhagavad Gita reading and discussion where we left, that is 4th chapter, 34th verse. So,
Yes.
yeah, so in this chapter, we read many karma yoga paths, like what all others do in karma yoga. Some perfectly worship the demigods as a matter of duty. Some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. Some um, use their hearing process and abstain, and that's how they um, just a minute, and that's how they sacrifice. And then the regulated householders, they sacrifice the object of the senses in the fire of the senses. Others who are interested, um, here pranayam we discussed,
Yeah, the meditation and pranayam
yes.
thing.
So eightfold mysticism, that is all karma yoga. That is all karma yoga. Okay. That is all karma yoga. And now we are at the. So first of all the sacrifices that we should be approved by the Vedas. One should not uh, one should not invent his own sacrifice and say that okay, this is it. Like in the Vedas, there is one nice story. One person wanted to worship Lord Shiva, and he was he was very much influenced by mode of darkness, So he knew that one has to create a fire yagya and all that. So he created a fire yagya, and after some time he became very impatient. So then he started cutting his own body, his own flesh from the body, and offering it into the fire for Lord Shiva to come. So such a kind of sacrifice is not recommended actually. You shouldn't put your flesh into the fire. So therefore, those are not approved by the Vedas. Second, is like the uh, what is it? Strike. People, workers, they go on strike, right? Various factories and all that, they go on a strike.
To increase their salary.
Yeah, to increase the salary or but they go on a hunger strike, hartal. They go on a hunger strike, right?
Mm.
So according to the Vedas, you should do you should be hungry, or you should voluntarily be hungry on the day of fasting, like Ekadashi. And its purpose should be so that this time that you have saved uh, from avoiding the cooking and all, you can put it in more spiritual practice. You are doing it for the pleasure of Vishnu. So that is the aim. But what happens in today's world, that whole fasting is picked up by politicians and they are using it for their purpose, right? So that is also not approved. So okay. Then the last thing that we discussed last time was,
Prabhuji, you told that that sacrifice that person was doing, and he was cutting out his flesh and then providing it to the sacrifice. Then what happened? The Shiva came.
yeah, yeah, Shiva became very merciful and he came.
Okay.
Then he asked that whoever head I put my hand, that person should die.
Okay.
So then Shiva allowed that also. Then he ran after Shiva to put his hand on Shiva's head only.
Okay.
And then they started running around, the universe.
Hmm.
Then Lord Vishnu came to know. So he became a very young boy.
Hmm.
And he came in front of this uh, person, and he said um, that why are you running after him? And he tells him the whole story. Then he said, okay, I don't believe in Lord Shiva because he's a very he's a person who lives in crematorium, put ashes on his body. So I doubt whether it will be true, whether that power will be true or not. Why don't you put it on your own head?
Hmm.
Put your hand on your own head and see. So then that person, I think it's Bomasura, no,
Yeah.
Bhasmasura. Ah.
Hmm.
So he puts his hand on his own head and he dies.
Hmm.
So that is the story. But yeah, such type of sacrifices are not approved actually. Okay. And second thing is, whatever sacrifice we perform, we should perform with knowledge. Why we are doing, how we are doing, why like that, why not like this, right? Just mere sacrifice of material possessions is not uh, better. Hmm? Now the question is, there are so many sacrifices in the Vedas. Which one should I do, right?
Hmm.
And we are in a particular time now. Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago. It was a particular. There was a Vedic time that time.
Hmm.
So today it's not so much Vedic time. So how still I can apply the principles of Bhagavad Gita? So Krishna gives the answer. It's a very important verse, 4.34. Tat
Typical.
vidhi prani pratena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanena tattva darshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. A self realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So you learn from a spiritual master. And how you should learn? Submissively and render him service, not in a challenging mood or offensive mood. And such self-realized people, they know the truth, so they can impart the knowledge to you. And then in today's age, um, we can know what is good for me and what's the process meant for me. Hmm? Okay. The path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciple succession from the Lord himself. No one can be bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. So there are many universities, many teachers. What qualification do we see? We see many qualifications. We
The
see
first
whether,
thing that how is the college, how what is the grade of the college, and how are the teachers, how they teach. So
yes,
all this
but the very basic thing that we see is whether it is recognized by the government.
recognized by the government or not.
And if it is bona fide or not.
Yeah.
Bona fide, how we'll see, all the degrees are there or not. Hmm? Is it teaching the same subjects that is taught all over the world? It's not like teaching something new, right?
Hmm.
So we like to see the bona fideness in that institute. We go to a doctor and the doctor has a certificate on the wall which says that I did MBBS in so and so year from so and so university, right? So if the doctor doesn't have that certificate, will we still consult him? No, because we know it's not going to work. Sometimes it may work, but for very serious things, it won't work, right?
Hmm.
So that's why spiritual master should be bona fide. This Bhagavad Gita we are reading, is it bona fide or not? So in
Yes.
so in the Bhagavad Gita itself, we have the disciplic succession, which starts from Krishna, Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, Madhva, Padmanabha, Narahari, Madhva, like that. And it goes till to Lord Chaitanya 500 years ago, Rupa Raghunatha, Jiva Goswami. And then it comes to Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and it will continue. His disciples, then disciples of their disciples, like that, it will continue. So this is the bona fideness of this disciplic succession started by Krishna himself. And therefore, whatever knowledge we are reading here is bona fide. It is making sense, it is helping also. And it is the right thing to do. Okay? So there are so many spiritual organizations. Huh? This is what we need to look into that what is their disciplic succession. If they don't have any disciplic succession, then there is no need to go to them because the knowledge won't be perfect, right? If you go to a teacher who says that I know I know horse riding, I can teach you horse riding, and if you ask him where did you learn, and if he says okay, I read almost 50 books on horse riding, and that's how I know how to ride a horse, are we going to accept that person?
No.
No, right? He doesn't
No.
have that practical experience also, neither he learned from a teacher, he just read books. So sometimes spiritual organizations they just have read the book and they keep speaking something. They most of the time people get confused. Most of the time it may be just about ethics. You be truthful, you don't say lie, you be good to others. But that is not spiritual. Spirituality is much more than that. Spirituality is to connect back to the Supreme Lord. So that bona fideness is looked at. The Lord is the original master, spiritual master, and a person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord. Now, some may show, such kind of disciplic succession. They may show such a kind of disciplic succession, but it won't be started by Krishna. It will be started by someone else. That is also to be rejected because Krishna is the supreme spiritual master, and he started the disciplic succession. So within India, there are four sampradayas which are still bona fide today. One is Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, which
Sri
comes under Udupi Madhvacharya. Another one is
Sri Sampradaya.
Sri Sampradaya, which is under Sri
Lakshmi.
Ramanuja Charya, 1000 years back.
Kumara Sampradaya. Kumar
Kumar
Sampradaya.
Sampradaya, the four Kumaras started. Then Rudra Sampradaya started by
Shiva.
Shiva. So such four Sampradayas are there today. They still continue. So knowledge within that is perfect. Okay. This is some technicality I told about. But it makes sense that if you want to learn something, we have to go to a teacher. And the teacher must have learned it by another teacher. Okay, not by himself, but by another teacher. That is the condition. So no one can spiritually realize by manufacturing his own process. So own process should not be manufactured. It is a fashion of foolish pretenders. The Bhagavatam says that dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. The path of the religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. What it says is that the bona fide spiritual religion is started by the Lord himself. Okay, no one else can start it. Therefore mental speculation, dry arguments cannot help lead one to the right path, nor by independent study of books or knowledge one can progress in spiritual life. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender. And one should serve the spiritual master like menial servant without false prestige. So full surrender means you are giving 100% attention to what the spiritual master is saying and acting like a menial servant. You are ready to do even small service. Not that I come from a very rich family, I won't do this all. No. So satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is a secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. See, even in our material education, we have to listen to the teacher, right? Attentive listening to the teacher. Then only we can grasp the subject matter. Yes or no? If we don't pay attention in the class, then how can we understand the subject matter, right? So same thing,
Yes.
in spiritual life also, it's even more important. The inquiry should be not for a joke or something, not for challenging. It should be submissive inquiry, and there should be some service also, practical service to the spiritual master. So one must be able to pass this test of the spiritual master. So he tests. Now, very interestingly, what kind of tests are there in spiritual life? If I ask you, can you think of any test in spiritual life? If I ask you what are the tests for commerce, what is the test for science, you can tell me, right?
Yes.
Various exams you can tell. But what is the test in spiritual life?
How selecting the bona fide guru, spiritual
Fine,
master,
fine. We are under a bona fide spiritual master. But what is the test that the spiritual master will do?
that he will come to know whether we are whether we have completely surrendered to the Lord Krishna or not, whether we have some knowledge, whether we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra properly or not, whether we get up in the morning and do all the works properly or not. All those things he will test. And then whether we have any knowledge about Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, okay. Good points. So in the Bhagavad Gita itself, in the 13th chapter, 8 to 12 verses are there. In the 13.8 to 13.12.
And
These are the
anger, like simplicity, that also he will see, no? Whether we are angry, lust, anger.
yes. So these qualities are seen here. Hmm.
Mm.
Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of objects of sense gratification. So these are the qualities that the spiritual master sees, whether this is coming or not. If such a qualities are seen in that disciple, then he will realize that knowledge. Otherwise, one will remain attached and won't be able to realize the spiritual knowledge. So the test is always on these points.
Prabhuji, how a bona fide teacher will come to know?
We learn from the story of Pandavas and Mahabharata. So
Mm.
once what happened is Dronacharya, he gave a task.
Mm.
So first he gave a task to Duryodhana. He
Mm.
said, you go into this village and find someone who is superior to you.
Mm.
And then he gave the same task to you to Yudhishthir. Go in this village and find someone who is superior to you.
Mm.
Duryodhana came back and said, I don't think in this village anybody is superior to me. I am the supreme most person in this village.
Mm.
Everyone is fallen. I am the supreme. I am the best person. And Yudhishthir Maharaj came and said, in this village, everyone is superior to me.
Mm.
They are doing some of the other work. They are being valuable. I am learning from them. So then Dronacharya understood who should become the king.
Mm.
Duryodhan was so self-centered,
Mm.
right? So such kind of test they do to see whether the quality of humility is there or not, self-control is there or not. It is not just about fighting. Okay, it is not just about fighting, fighting skills and all. No, it is about dharma, doing the right thing.
Mm.
In this verse, both okay, one must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. So one should not follow blindly the guru, and one should not inquire absurdly for a joke or something or challenging mood. Why do you think this blind following is mentioned?
Blind following means with see, blindly we should not accept God, bona fide spiritual master. You should know about him. You should find out the details about him. How he, whether he is coming from the parampara or not, whether he is truthful to his guru or not. All those things. So, so that
Okay,
is how we have to find out. And
okay,
whether
good.
he is God conscious or whether he speaks about Krishna or not, or he speaks about any other philosophical word. That we
Yes, yeah. So blind following means we should not accept the teachings of guru if they are against the shastras and against the teachings of
Krishna.
past sadhus. So if the guru is saying something which is going against the shastra says something and the guru says something else, then we did not follow that guru. Or if the guru is saying something and the past sadhus have not followed that way in that situation, then also we can reject. In the Shastra, right, very nice example is given of Bali Maharaj. So
Mm.
his spiritual master Shukracharya told him that don't give anything to Vaman Dev,
Mm.
the young boy. He will take away everything. But Bali Maharaj said it is the duty of everyone to give everything to Vishnu. So if he himself has come, I won't hesitate, and I will give myself. I will give everything what he wants. Interestingly, Vaman Dev just asked for 3 steps of land,
Mm.
but then he started growing to such an extent that within 2 steps he could cover upper planet system and lower planet system. And then he said where to put the third step. To which Bali Maharaj said, "You put it on my head, and that also belongs to you now."
Mhm.
So he rejected his spiritual master and he achieved the great mercy of the Lord. So sometimes spiritual master out of some mistake or something may give the wrong teaching. Then we have to reject him.
Follow our own.
Yeah. So this is a very important thing. Why? Because there are many blind followers. And we see that in other spiritual organizations, so-called spiritual organization, that the there the so-called guru, he does some bad activity, abuse, or taking drugs or something like that, and still people go on worshipping him.
Yes, yes.
So that is blind following, and that's how
Mysore,
they get cheated.
Mysore it has happened. No?
Huh?
Mysore, on the way to Mysore, there's one ashram.
No, no, it's okay. We should not name anything right now, but there are many actually, not just in India, outside also.
Mm.
Outside also. So we should be very careful. We should be very careful. We should understand who's a spiritual master, who's not a spiritual master. By this simple formula, that what he is teaching is according to Shastras and according to the teachings of past sadhus and saints. There are so many saints that have happened right in the past, and we know their life story. And they never cheated anyone, right? Do we hear
Mhm.
like that? No, right? They never cheated anyone. So So if there is cheating going on, then one should not follow such a guru. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries become perfect. So, submissiveness, humbleness in front of the guru is very, very important. Should not be in the challenging mode. What are you telling? Should not be in the challenge. Submissiveness should be there. Okay,
And we have
next.
to see whether they come from the disciplic succession or not, no, Prabhuji.
What? Sorry.
We have to see whether they are
Yeah,
coming in.
that is there, Mataji. After accepting such a guru, and even though the guru may do some mistake, na,
Mm,
you follow the right guru. Yes, he's bona fide, everything.
mm,
But then later on, while teaching, he may change,
mm.
and this happens, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They tell something at the start, but at the end, something else is happening, right? Behind the scenes, something else is happening. Okay. Yep.
Prabhuji, these things has happened in ISKCON, Prabhuji? No, no.
Yes. Yeah, it has happened. So
Happened, huh?
they have been told to stop being guru.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, it can happen anywhere.
Okay.
Like there can be professors joining IIT, IIMs, and all that, and they may also deviate and teach something else.
Mm,
Then the college has to remove them. We hear, right? Sometimes we hear such news.
yes, Prabhuji, that is what I'm asking.
Huh.
So,
So
recent,
that can happen in colleges. So why it cannot happen in various so-called spiritual societies, right? It can happen here also. Okay.
mm,
यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम एवं यस्यसि पांडवा येन भूतानि अशेषेण दीक्षसि आत्मनि अथो मयि. Having obtained real knowledge from the self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For this knowledge, you will see all beings are been put are but part of the supreme. In other words, they are mine. So this knowledge that you will get from the guru, it will remove all the illusion, and you will see that the living entities are not separate beings, are not like supreme lord, but they are part of the supreme, and you can see then the bigger family. Okay, so equanimity and seeing everyone in relation to Krishna, that kind of that kind of vision comes. Okay. The result of receiving knowledge from self-realized soul, or one who knows things as they are, is learning that all living beings are part and parcel of the Supreme Personal Godhead. See, real knowledge is to show that this world is also part and parcel of Krishna, and we are also part and parcel of Krishna. So at the end, we get a universal viewpoint that actually all beings are my brothers and sisters, right? We belong to the same family. So then the mentality of violence, uh, discrimination, all that thing goes away when we come to know that all beings are part and parcel of Krishna, including me, right?
mm,
Like you may be suppose standing in a line, and there's another person standing in the line. Now you don't want that person to go ahead of you, right? Because you're standing in the line and all that, and you don't want to be friendly also with that person. You don't know now who is he and stranger and all that. But then you hear when he talks on the phone, and he says something like, I am from Mysore on the phone. He says something about Mysore. And then later on, you ask him, "Are you from Mysore?" And he says, "Yes, I am from Mysore." And then if you are also from Mysore, suddenly you start feeling very friendly to him. "I'm also from Mysore. You're also from Mysore. Oh, very nice. Where are you from Mysore? Which part of the area?" Right? And then in conversation, you become friendly to that person. So initially, you may have some reservation, but if you find that that person also comes from your same native place, then you become very friendly to that person, right? Isn't it? Yes or no? We may
Yes,
sit,
Prabhuji. Yes,
yeah, we
Prabhuji.
may sit in a railway
Yes.
station, in let's say bus or a train, and some people we just become so friendly just because they know somebody and we know somebody, and that's a common point. So when we get a common point, we become very friendly to that person. So this knowledge brings us to that common point, that all beings are part and parcel of Krishna, including me. So then we can see that common point, Krishna, and now we are one family. It's not like you are Indian, you are American, you are Australian. No, we are spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna. Then we can, act very friendly with everyone, and this is very, very important. If a knowledge brings us discrimination on the external factor, then that knowledge is not good. The sense of an existence separate from Krishna is called Maya. Something that we have nothing to do with Krishna, and that Krishna is only a great historical personality and absolute. And the absolute is impersonal Brahman. So some may consider Krishna to be just historical personality, but actually, factually, Krishna says that this impersonal Brahman is the personal effulgence of Krishna. He, I think he says in 15th chapter, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. He says this in some chapter. He says Brahmano hi pratishtaham. That this Brahman, it it depends on me. It's my own personal effulgence. Factually, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, this impersonal Brahman is the personal effulgence of Krishna. Krishna, as the Supreme Personal Godhead, is the cause of everything. In the Brahma Samhita, it is clearly stated that Krishna is the Supreme Personal Godhead, the cause of all causes. Even the million incarnations of are only his different expansions. Similarly, living entities are also expansions of Krishna. The Mayavadi philosopher wrongly thinks that Krishna loses his separate existence in his many expansions. So they think when Krishna comes as Lord Ram or Varadev or Nrsimha Bhagavan, then he becomes half. Because that's what our understanding is, right? If there is a cake and if we can make it half, the quantity also decreases, right?
Yes. Prabhuji, I have
Yes.
a question, Prabhuji. Actually, we are all part and parcel of Lord Prabhuji Krishna. So why we are all having different mentality?
Yeah, yeah, good point. So before that, let me just finish this point and I'll explain why we have different mentality. Um, so what does this expansion means? This expansion means it's like a father and a mother have their son. So the son is part and parcel of the father and mother, yes, and he's the expansion. So by having a son, they have not become half. Have they become half? No, right? The father
No.
mother remain the same. Similarly, when Krishna expands into Narsinga Bhagwan, Varadev, Rama, then he doesn't become half. It is his expansion. Getting? It is in full
Yes, Prabhuji.
glory. Now coming to your question, why different living entities have different mentalities is because, see, let me just See, there is, okay. So first reason is everyone gets some body, right? Everyone has a different body, and that body is externally also different and internally also different. Internally different means the psychophysical nature, the psychology of the person is different, right? So why do we get it? Because this material, this matter, this material body that we have, subtle body, that is mind, intelligence, and gross body, the senses, the flesh, okay, they have these qualities in them in varying degrees: sattva, rajas, and tamas. So, and these sattva, rajas, tamas, they are influencing us. Okay, they are influencing us to act and behave in a certain way. So sattva, as we say, goodness, it will influence us to do some good, and rajas will be to make us more passionate, run after, fruit. Tamas will be laziness. And we see that when we get up in the morning, we are like in sattva good, sattva good. We are peaceful, we are ready to take the whole day. And as by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, we start becoming very excited. I have to go here, I have to go there, I have to do this work, I have to earn money, etc. And then in the night, what happens when you come back from home?
Tired.
You feel tired, you feel lazy, and then you say, I have to go to sleep now.
Mm.
So this is how, sattva, rajas, tamas, they are affecting us. Okay, and that's how, there are different personalities that are coming. It's a combination of the three in various permutations, combinations. Okay,
Yes, Prabhu.
so
Thank
chapter
you.
14 explains, the three gunas. And because there are many, see, there are so many points, right? So there can be n number of combinations between the three, right? And again, combination is fine. Even the quantity of sattva, rajas, and tamas will vary. See, parents may have, let's say, one parent may have 5 children. Are all 5 children the same? No, right?
No.
Yeah, so same way, even though they are same parent, doesn't mean that, children will come out to have the same thoughts and same feelings and emotions. No, the attitude will be completely different. You got your answer, Mataji?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
I got
it's
it.
because of the three gunas.
Because of the three gunas, yeah.
Yeah, we
So
get it
sometimes
with our body.
it may increase, no, Prabhuji.
What?
Sometimes tamas may increase, or sometimes
Yeah, in the night, tamas will increase.
okay.
So therefore, we have to utilize it in the right way.
Mm.
When tamas increases, and tamas means you can go to sleep. So then you go to sleep at that point.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
We have experienced in the material world that a thing, when fragmentally distributed, loses its own original identity. But the Mayavadi philosopher failed to understand the absolute means that 1 plus 1 is equal to 1, and 1 minus 1 is also equal to 1. So interestingly, it doesn't become half, it remains the same. 1 plus 1 becomes 1, and 1 minus 1 is also 1. So this is the case of the absolute world. For want of sufficient knowledge in the absolute science, we are now covered with illusion. Therefore, we think that we are separate from Krishna. Although we are separated parts of Krishna, we are nevertheless not different from him. So we have discussed this multiple times, that we are in quality with the Supreme, not quantity. Like, the child is having similar nature of the parents. But is he the parent? No, right? He's not the parent. He is not the whole thing, like that. The drop of seawater is salty, and it may contains the same minerals that are found, chemicals that are found in the sea. But is the quantity same? No. The sea is endless quantity, and the drop may have very little quantity. Therefore, it is called sea water, a drop of sea water, and not the sea. So same way, we are not separate from Krishna. Although we are separate parts of Krishna, we are nevertheless not different from him. Not different from him means quality wise. The bodily difference of the living entity is Maya or not actual fact. We are all meant to satisfy Krishna. So our existence is to satisfy Krishna actually. Hmm. Um, this is also part of the knowledge that what are we really meant for. On the spiritual platform, we are really meant for satisfy Krishna. On the material platform, if we are doing some work or something, then some success in that work. And then again, we have to satisfy Krishna in that work also by offering the results back to Krishna. So, so it's a very big topic, means to satisfy Krishna. As we go in further chapters, we will discuss this again and again. By Maya alone, Arjuna thought that the temporary body relationship with his kinsmen are more important than his eternal relationship with the Krishna. So Arjuna was very worried, na? My family members, they will die. But then he forgot his relationship with eternal relationship with Krishna. Krishna is saying you should fight. So he's forgetting that. The whole teaching of Gita is towards targeted towards this end, that the living being as Krishna's eternal servitor cannot be separated from Krishna. And his sense of being an identity apart from Krishna is called Maya. The living entities are separate part and parcel of the Supreme, have a promise to fulfill. Having forgotten that purpose since time immemorial, they are situated in different bodies. As so, here is your answer, Mataji. They have forgot this purpose, and now they will be differently situated as men, animal, demigods, etc. And such body difference arise from forgetfulness of the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So, this is another answer for your question. Why? Because we are forgetting that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are eternal servant of Krishna. When one is engaged in transcendental loving through Krishna consciousness and becomes one, and one becomes at once liberated from this illusion, one can acquire such pure knowledge only from bona fide spiritual master. So, such a knowledge, where I am part and parcel of Krishna, I am eternal servant of Krishna, that can come only from a bona fide spiritual master. In other spiritual organizations, right, this knowledge is not there. So, people are confused over there. For them, if they get little bit peace in that spiritual organization, they'll think, okay, I have achieved spirituality. But that is not the case. Perfect knowledge is that supreme soul. Krishna is the supreme shelter of all living entities, and giving up such shelter, the living entities are deluded by material energy, imagining themselves to have separate identity. Thus, under different standards of material identity, they become forgetfulness of Krishna. When, however, such deluded living entities become situated in Krishna consciousness, it is to be understood that they are on the path of liberation. So, if we become Krishna conscious, we are on the path of liberation. It is confirmed in Bhagavatam. Liberation means to be situated in one's constitutional position as eternal servant of Krishna. So for us, liberation means not peace. It means that we are serving Krishna. The moment we start serving Krishna through one of the 9 processes of devotion service, we are liberated. 4.36. Api ched asip apapebhyo sarvebhyo papakritam tamah sarvam jnanam plavena eva vrijinam santarishyasi. I'll go a little bit more than today, like 10 minutes more, because we started a little late. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendent knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. Wow. See, however sinful we may be, but if we get this knowledge, right, transcendent knowledge, then we'll be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. Okay, if we have this right knowledge that Krishna is part, we are part and parcel of Krishna, Krishna is the supreme, and I am his eternal servant. This is the transcendent knowledge actually. Okay, I am spirit, part and parcel of Krishna, eternal servant of Krishna. Krishna is the supreme, and I have to do devotional service to Krishna. This is the core of the transcendent knowledge. If one is having even theoretical understanding of this, then his spiritual life is started, and he will have success. Proper understanding of one's constitutional position in relation to Krishna is so nice that it can at once lift from the struggle for existence which goes on in the ocean of nations. This material world is sometimes regarded as ocean of nations and sometimes as blazing forest. In the ocean, however expert a swimmer may be, the struggle for existence is very severe. If someone comes forward and lifts the struggling swimmer from the ocean, he is the greatest savior. Perfect knowledge received from Supreme Personal Godhead is the path of liberation. The boat of Krishna consciousness is very simple, but at the same time, the most sublime. See, this knowledge is very simple, right? It is not a very complex knowledge. If you go to some discourses of other spiritual people, right, then they will talk that, we are one, you are that one, we merge into some sky, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It's a very difficult to understand how is this happening. But when we come to bhakti, we know, okay, I'm servant of Krishna. I just have to serve Krishna. And there are pastimes of pastimes just proving that. All previous acharyas served Krishna. There are stories of many devotees serving Krishna, Pandavas, the Gopas, the Gopis, so many of them, right? We have sadhus serving Krishna, Tukaram Maharaj, hmm? So many of them. So we can understand this knowledge very easily, right? So it is very simple, but it is very sublime. यथैधांसि सम्मिधो अग्निर भस्म सत कुरुते अर्जुना ज्ञानाग्नि सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात कुरुते तथा. Now if we get this knowledge, what will happen? As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, so does the fire of knowledge burns to ashes all reactions of material activities. So whatever material activities we have performed in the past, right, and in the past um, life also, all of them get burnt and they don't start acting upon us. Very interesting. Perfect knowledge makes us liberated. Perfect knowledge of the self and the super self and of their relation is compared herein to fire. This fire not only burns up all reactions to impious activities but also all reactions to pious activities, turning them to ashes. There are many stages of reaction. Reaction in the making, reaction fructifying. Okay, okay. So, what is this? These are stages of reaction. Um, if I take a seed, if I take a seed, the seed has the whole plant, the tree in it, right? But it is not fructified yet. You have to put it in the ground and then it starts fructifying. Some two leaves come, four leaves come, the flower comes, and then the actual fruit comes, right? After many years. So our karmas are like those seeds, and each seed is at various stage. Some may be fructifying, some may be in the seed form, some may be in half developed form. So that is how the reactions in our life are coming. We are sometimes getting reactions for actions which we have done like 50 lifetimes before, and we don't know because right now that seed fructified. Today we see many people, they do some illegal activity and they may get away from it, and we may consider, oh no, Bhagavad Gita is saying you will get action, you will get reaction for your action, but that person didn't get. Well, the seed of that reaction, where it is it in the seed form or is it in the plant form and is it in the fruit form? That decides. So in their cases what happens is it is in the seed form. So in some time later, maybe some hundred, maybe some few years later, it may fructify. And if it doesn't fructify within that lifetime, then next lifetime, maybe next of that. You are getting this concept of reaction?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why so many karmas are there, but at what stage they are? Are they in the seed form or are they in just the plant form, or are they in the fruit form?
So till such time, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi will be going.
Yes. Till that time, Janma Mrityu Jaravati means the birth and death will be there. But what is Krishna saying? If you get this knowledge, all reactions will be burnt off. So no more Janma Mrityu Jaravati. But knowledge of the constant position of the living entity burns everything to ashes. Whether one is in the complete knowledge, all reactions, both priori and post priori, are consumed. We can see what does this mean. Priori. Okay. Oh. From the former, if it's a former, or it is posteriori. From the later. Work backwards from an effect to its causes. So, okay. So anyway, it's like seed form or plant form or fruit form, like that we can understand. Okay, these are very technical words. In the Vedas, Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it says that one overcomes both the pious and impious reactions of the world. So this knowledge burns everything. Hmm? Okay. Today's last verse. न हि ज्ञानम न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशम पवित्रम इह विद्यते तत् स्वयं योग संसिद्धि कालेनात्मि विन्दति. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who becomes accomplished in the practice of devotional service engages in this knowledge within himself in due course of time. Once we get this knowledge, we want to implement it, and it becomes sublime and pure, and all the reactions, they just go away. When we speak of transcendental knowledge, we do so in terms of spiritual understanding. As such, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Ignorance is the cause of our bondage. Ignorant, you are ignorant means you don't know. What you don't know? That you are soul, you're part and parcel of Krishna, you're eternal servant of Krishna, and Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and we have to do devotional service to Krishna. If we are ignorant of that, then we'll remain in bondage. When we get that knowledge, it is the cause of our liberation. This knowledge is the mature fruit of devotional service, and when one is situated in transcendental knowledge, he does not need search for peace elsewhere. So peace is in this bhakti itself. It is a part and parcel. It will come. For he enjoys peace within himself. In other words, this knowledge and peace culminates in Krishna consciousness. That is the last word of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So let's open up for some questions or comments. Any question or any comment anyone has?
Prabhuji, can you just explain the highlighted ones again?
So ignorant we talk about, right? What is ignorance? And then knowledge, this knowledge of devotional service to Krishna is the cause of liberation. So this knowledge is the mature fruit of devotional service. So one will practice devotional service. Okay, he will situate himself in this transcendental knowledge by performing devotional service, and then he will achieve peace also within it. He'll achieve such peace that he won't think that okay, there is something more to be achieved, there is something else I need to do, because he will become peaceful within himself. In other words, knowledge and peace culminates in Krishna consciousness. So all kinds of knowledge, I mean the supreme knowledge is there in Krishna consciousness, and peace is also there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, so when we take to devotional service, right, we get everything: liberation, going back to Godhead, no more reaction. Then one may still think, okay, no reaction, that means nothing bad should happen to me. Then how does this statement that all reactions are burnt is true? The explanation is whatever happens in our life after we become a devotee, right? Krishna personally takes care, and he makes us go through those situations so that our spiritual intensity increases, because we are not become yet pure devotees, right? We are not pure devotees here. We are still impure. So to let us go through that process, he allows some karma to act on us. See, when the water is dirty, we have to force it through the filters, and then only we get clean purified water. You may have at home the purifiers, right? If the water is just in the purifier but it is not purified, then what is the use of it, right? Similarly, when we get this knowledge, when we start utilizing it, it is like going through that purification process, and then we become purified and come out of it. Okay, any question, any comment?
So last week I had asked a doubt about meditation and pranayam, if you remember.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I came across. I was just like looking about it. So I was talking about it. So I came across a video. So over there, the point it was from like it was a spiritual. It was from a spiritual point of view that uh, before meditation, there should be you should like practice and master introspection, and then only you should go on to meditation. So what are you like? What do you think about? Like, what is your thoughts? What are your thoughts about
See,
on
it
this?
is eightfold part, na? Um,
Ashtang Yoga.
yeah, yeah, here it is. It's we stopped here only. So it is yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Okay. So yam, niyam means do's and don'ts. Asana means to do the asanas. Pranayam means do the breathing exercises. So all of these are happening simultaneously. Pratyahara, uh, pratyahara means to control. Now this, to control our senses, you know. So this pratyahara is where the introspection, everything is happening. Why I should do this, why I should not do this, like that. Okay. So it is
So
embedded
is
inside.
this like is this everything together, or is there like
It's
a step
everything
by step
together.
process?
Yeah. Till pratyahara, right? It is easily practicable. It becomes difficult in this last three stages: dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So introspection and all that is all part of this yam, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So
Yes.
so because it is eightfold process, right? There are many concepts, but we should understand that they all come in this eightfold only. Most of them come in this pratyahara. And then dharana, dhyana, samadhi is like when we practice for a long time, then this dharana comes. We are able to do some dhyana and then ultimate samadhi. Okay?
Yes, yes, I
Yeah.
get it.
So yeah. Okay. Okay. So any more questions?
No.
Okay. Okay. So